The purpose of this video is to go over what it's like to be a team lead. Now, this term can be somewhat confusing because sometimes the team lead isn't even called out as a project responsibility. So this could be called a team lead, a lead engineer, a lead developer, or even given an architecture title or one not at all. The important part is to look at what the day in the life looks like and realize, is this me? Or if I want to be doing this, what should my day look like? What is a lead? In general, it's going to be the most experienced software developer on a team. This is the person who has the most years and the most experience in general for when it comes to software development. For software development in general, though, there's lots of different flavors. We have front-end developers, which are developers who specialize in developing things with graphical user interfaces on them. We have back-end developers, who are developers who specialize in doing the things that don't have front ends, RESTful services, for example. And then we have full stack, which is somebody who has done both. In terms of a lead developer, in general, this is the minimum requirement. In order to lead a team of developers, which will most likely contain both front-end and back-end developers, along with other flavors, it's good to have a minimal understanding of what it is to do front-end and back-end work. In terms of the next flavor, DevOps, while a much more broad subject, this has to do with pure automation. How do I automate the building and delivery and testing of my software? You'll find in a lot of cases that a lead developer has a good amount of DevOps experience because sometimes this role may not exist in name and the lead will sometimes be the one handling a lot of the DevOps activities. In terms of ops and administration, meaning people that are focused on things like pure server maintenance or administration of services, this sometimes exists in a team, other times it doesn't. It's also good for the lead to have a minimal understanding of any types of administrative activities that need to occur inside of the development stack. What does a lead do? Well, in general, they're going to be a developer plus a bunch of additional responsibilities. Fundamentally, this is going to start with standards and best practices. Every project shouldn't be completely different. There are what we call industry standards and best practices for going about doing software development. Things like having static code analysis, enforcing those rules, having a code formatter as a best practice so that we're all not using tabs versus spaces, or even having to argue about it. There's also a matter of technical coordination. If there are multiple developers, those developers all can't be working on the same thing at the same time. You're going to want to spread them out across whatever you're doing in order to have them be most effective. There's also going to be lots of questions. Depending on the level of experience with the other developers, you can have sometimes very junior developers who are going to have a lot of questions. Answering these questions can be very time-consuming. Another responsibility, which is sometimes questionable, is when the lead finds themselves doing things relating to architecture, meaning things outside of the context of an individual application or involving multiple applications. This is going to depend more on organizational structure and whether or not someone actually is on the project with an architecture title. But a lead, being the person that's going to be closest to the ground level, is going to have a lot of architectural insight, and the result is they're going to end up with architectural responsibility. And finally, as the most senior developer, when there are things that other people can't handle, it's the lead's job to handle those, the hard things.